And as part of the DNA of the brand, you will realize that the slogan of the brand is wild pickleball, right? So we believe that, keeping pickleball wild.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting fact about your player, Marcelo Jardim.
yeah,
He is the brother of Simone Jardim.
yeah,
Oh, that's why I
Yeah.
knew the name.
yeah.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Pickleball Bros podcast with Mark Nishiam and Eric Lim. Today we have a special guest from, I hope I pronounce it correctly, Zebra.
Exactly. Zebra,
Okay,
that's it.
it's a pickleball paddle and equipment manufacturer. And we have, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Pierre Schultz.
Perfect. Couldn't do it
Perfect.
better.
Okay, good. Okay, so he's a marketing consultant and entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in international business. He has experience building brands, partnerships, and he is the founder and CEO of Osblick
That is correct.
LLC, okay, which focuses on athletes, teams, and sports properties uh, to unlock commercial opportunities through strategic partnerships and innovative marketing approaches. So, welcome, Pierre.
Thank you. Thanks for the intro. It sounds like a lot, but in simpler words, I'm a marketeer that is passionate about sports, and I just try to connect fans with brands, and that's what I do. I've been doing that for 20 plus years. That's where all this white beard comes from. I lost all my hair trying to figure things out, but I kept the beard.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
So, you're from Colombia, is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
I was born and raised in Bogota, Colombia. That's the
Yeah.
capital.
Capital.
But my father is German, so I'm half German, half Colombian, and I had the honor to live for many years in Germany, and I also went to a German school. So um, half German, half Colombian, and currently living in the States, living in the U.S. for 8 years already in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, very nice. Okay. Very international.
Yeah, I might be wearing too many layers right now because I'm in Colorado skiing for
Oh,
spring
it's
break,
cold though.
but
Nice.
I'm someone who prefers the heat than the cold weather.
Okay. Then you got,
In
okay,
other
so
words.
before I forget, Eric has experience with your pedal. So let me share this
Oh,
because I pulled it up.
I want to see that. I'm
Okay.
curious.
This is Eric in Spain, I believe.
No, no, no. Let me go ahead and introduce.
Yeah.
So I took a trip to see my friend in Bulgaria, and he was having a
Mm,
wedding. While I was there, I got to meet up with the Sofia Pickleball Club and also this one,
yeah,
the Plovdiv Pickleball Club, run by Ken Boone or Nick Boone.
yeah,
And they're using, as you can see, the center. She's one of the leaders. You see the paddle that she's holding,
yeah.
and then go to
Uh,
the other picture, Mark. And they also had gear for me to try out. So I've actually
oh, that's
used
interesting.
your brand.
And the net is Zebra too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, that's amazing that you actually had contact. So that's actually one of our entry point paddles. Um, and when was this? This was a few years back.
August, it was no, it was only about 9 months ago. August
Okay, cool.
18th.
Love it. Well, Eric, that's pretty amazing that you already had contact with a paddle. So I'm not going to ask you specifically because you're a high end player, so you're a pretty advanced player. But
Thank you.
how do you feel playing with that specific paddle, which is more or less like an entry point paddle, like a
Yeah, I
cheaper
could
version,
tell.
more or less?
I could tell immediately off the bat that it was an entry point paddle. Just feeling the surface of it as a player, we noticed the grit is not as gritty. It doesn't have much friction to
Yeah,
it. So it's slippery. It kind of slides off the paddle. The power is a little inconsistent on the outer rims, but for the middle, it was quite good. I could dink very well. I couldn't hit it very hard, but all my dinks were pretty spot on. I could hit my sides, and against the people there, the club was about a 3.5 average duper. I did
There
very
you
well.
go.
I pretty much won everything there.
Well, you just said it. I mean, it's that's specifically a paddle made for um, people who are starting to play, and that's something we currently use at many schools with the support of some of our brand ambassadors who are coaches. I mean, you were in Bulgaria, right? So
Mhm.
Eastern Europe. So the brand, maybe I can do a little intro. So the brand has been out there in Europe for a little over 5 years. It was founded by an amazing girl named Shiana Lopez, and basically the brand started to spread all over Europe without necessarily too many expectations, to put it in some shape or form. And as soon as the brand started to grow, we started to sign a couple of pro players in Europe, and we actually partnered up with the best plus 50 player worldwide. Marcelo Jardin is his name.
Yeah.
And he started pretty much becoming the face of the brand worldwide, to a point where people started asking for paddles in other countries. Um, but for that time, we didn't necessarily have like an ultra competitive paddle. So we started improving our quality of products up to a point where we came up with, I would say, probably two models, one that is called the Black Mamba and one that is called the Osprey, that are currently the ones using by all pros. But the good news is that just a few weeks back, and this is like, I mean, this is, you guys are the first ones to share this with the world. So we're coming up in the next 2 weeks with a brand new paddle called the Gazelle, that it's full foam, and it's absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna make sure that you guys get one for you guys to try it out, because the grit, the feeling of the paddle and its power are just absurd. I can tell you, I have tried every single paddle out there in the market, and it's definitely above my expectations. So I'm looking forward to hear what you guys have to say, because I'm a very, intermediate player. I don't have, let's say, the criteria to tell you like, oh, this is actually the best paddle out there, but I can tell from the feedback that I got from pro players that already tested it, that the paddle is pretty unique. So I'll make sure to share with you guys some info on that specific paddle for you guys to have it. And for sure, I'm going to ship you guys over some demos for you guys to try it out. It's called the Gazelle. And if you check on our social media handles, you will realize that we're already, posting some expectation campaign posts, and people are doing their pre-orders. And nice thing about it is that it could be compared to any top paddle out there from those big brands spending millions of dollars in marketing. But we're only selling it for $240. So it's also price competitive.
Very nice. You heard it here
Yeah.
first. We got the
Yeah,
first inside scoop worldwide,
exactly.
straight from the
Absolutely first
source.
one. Yeah.
Very excited to hear about and try it out. By the way, I wanted to tell you before we take off from this topic that in Plovdiv, Bulgaria, that was the only paddles and nets that they could buy at the store that they had. So congratulations on being like the main supplier for Plovdiv pickleball.
Yeah. So the what is really interesting about ZCEBRA, and the reason why I got, let's say, engaged with this brand, and there you go, that's exactly, that's the Gazelle, and that's how it looks. And we're playing a lot with this like black and gold line of design. And as part of the DNA of the brand, you will realize that the slogan of the brand is wild pickleball, right? So we believe that keeping pickleball wild, it's something fun to explore. So each one of our paddles is somehow related with an animal, a different animal, right? So the Gazelle, the Osprey, the Black Mamba, which is a cobra more or less. And for the upcoming models, we're going to be a little bit more into that specific line of design. And many of the things that you're currently looking at our website will change in the next 2 weeks. We're coming out with a brand new product catalog. We're coming with new branding on our paddles. As you guys know, in the Western Hemisphere, more or less, pickleballers or consumers of pickleball don't necessarily like paddles with surfaces that are too branded. As you said, Eric, when you play with branding on the paddle on the surface, you might lose some grit. And it's different now with the different types of paint and stuff that you can find in the market. But the truth is that we're going to play with something a little bit more cleaner. And if you look at the Gazelle or the Mamba, or even the Osprey, branding is reduced on the surface so that you can guarantee performance.
Yeah,
Nice.
interesting fact about your player, Marcelo Jardim.
Yeah,
He is the brother of Simone Jardim.
yeah,
Oh, that's why I
Yeah.
knew the name.
yeah. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
so he comes from the padel world, so that's also very interesting to
Okay.
mention. So as you guys know, a padel tennis is the king in many markets in Europe, specifically Spain, where ZCEBRA or Zebra started, as well as in all over Latin America. But padel players are starting to migrate into pickleball because it is definitely easier for them to play it, right? So imagine in our part of the world here in the US, tennis players get into pickleball because it's fairly simple for them to play it, right? So in those padel countries, that same story is happening. In Marcelo Jardim, used to be a legend in padel, still is a legend in padel, right? So he started playing with one of our models that it's a little bit heavier and longer. It's called the Totem, and that specific shape of paddle was made to more or less give you the weight of a padel paddle. So he started playing with that one and felt really good with it and started promoting it amongst his friends in the padel industry. And now he, of course, is playing with, lighter paddles because, I mean, he could play any paddle. He could play with a ping pong paddle and beat everyone at his level. He's really amazing and a great guy. And now what we're doing, which is interesting, is we're starting to, let's say, make ZCEBRA an international brand. And by that, having this conversation with you two guys, it's pretty exciting because we're definitely interested in opening markets in Japan. We've already started doing that and all over Latin America. So you can find our paddles in Brazil, in Colombia, in Venezuela, in Argentina, in Uruguay, in Mexico, in Costa Rica. I mean, we're growing slowly because this is still a custom brand. And in one of those, let's say, teams where you could still have a conversation with the founder, you can still get feedback, you can still share your feedback with the let's say the brand owners, so that changes can made. So we do listen to our customers and players. So you're looking at the portfolio of players of the next generation. We know that the future of the sport are those 9+, 8+ year old kids, right? So we're distributing a lot of product amongst those kids so that hopefully they can make it to pro levels. We just signed the two best players in Brazil. Actually, both are under 15, but they are playing against all the adults and destroying. So you will see them play very soon because they're actually flying to the US to play some PPA events very soon as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, we don't get too much information about Europe and Latin America. So this is kind of refreshing for us because we mainly,
Yeah.
I live in Asia or I live in Japan. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of activity here, and I know everybody here in Asia pretty much. But it's nice to see other people in the other parts of the world playing this sport.
And I was last week. I was in Florida and Fort Lauderdale for Racket X, and I was looking into, those new products that were exposed there. So the folks from Knox were introducing their pickleball paddles. Selkirk had a little stand as well.
Hmm.
Adidas had a little stand, not a little stand. Actually, they were one of the main sponsors, so they did have a larger presence. But truth is that if you look into the overall pickleball market, everything looks the same, and providers, manufacturers, doing paddles for different brands are more or less the same folks. So how can you differentiate from the rest of the world? That's the big, um, concern that we as brands are facing these days. And what we believe is that the base of the pyramid, which are the amateur players, the regular folks like myself who enjoy playing 3 times per week, are the base of the business, right? Yes, you get inspired by the pros. Yes, pros are essential, but not all brands have the budget to actually go at a pro level and start paying millions to pro players. So we believe that if we build stronger relationships with club owners, with coaches, with community leaders, and if we just support the little ones, we could have an interesting impact. So that's how we operate. So it's all about the soul. We love to play around with animals because we love animals, and so I'm just imagining all the cool things that we could come up, in the near future if we open a market like Japan, that I'm absolutely inspired by. And I mentioned this to you, Mark. My dream has always been to travel to Japan. I haven't been able to go there, but I'm hoping to do so this year to go and play some pickleball there with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Please.
So what we do is I suggested in the chat that you come and we do
Yeah,
a open play session with the locals here to get everybody familiarized with your products and your paddles, and that's basically how we start. And
I love
there's
that.
a lot of sponsors and distributors here that would be willing to take on something new like this because we don't have anything like this in Japan.
I would love that. Let's put that on our calendars. And I mean, you're looking right now at the apparel line. So we initially produced our own apparel, and the fabric industry or the clothing industry can be a little tricky when you try to export because many markets are very well protected. Um, so what we're currently doing is we're collaborating with well-established brands in the pickleball and padel space for them to produce our apparel.
Oh,
So a good example, it's a brand called Belén Berbel. So two B's. She used to be a pro player from Spain, tennis player, and now she has a beautiful line of female apparel. So she does all the female apparel for us these days. Um, and then for the boys, we had contributed with different brands. Let's say the main competitor of Adidas and Nike in Europe, it's called Homa, Joma.
oh, Homa, yeah.
They Yeah, they did
Hmm.
all the apparel for us. So
Okay.
um, I'm more or less sure that that's going to be the line we're going to keep on exploring, and we're just going to focus on producing better paddles and better pickleball accessories, and then let our partners or collaborators take care of the clothing because people love to wear the brand as well, for sure.
Yeah, women spend a lot of money on how they look. So
Exactly.
women's apparel is actually a very good market, especially in
Yeah,
Asia, when everybody wants to look a little bit better than the other person on the court. Men, maybe not
absolutely.
so much, but women, definitely.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, we're very basic. We could play with the same T-shirt and shorts for a few days,
Yeah.
but girls are definitely, the ones that keep pickleball looking so nice.
Exactly.
um, yeah. So actually, I mean, at the very beginning, we started exploring with many products. So we have the spray that controls your sweat on your hands. We had the nets that you guys saw, right? Portable nets. Um, but anyways, at the end of the day, what we're more interested in is to actually become a high quality paddle that players appreciate playing with, and that it's not going to break the bank, right? So our top notch paddle would be $240 in the US or 240 euros in Europe.
Okay.
So we want to keep it at that price range, and that's going to be our flag for the remaining portion of this year. Um, and hopefully this will allow us to open different markets, come up with a signature series with local players, um, support many events.
Hmm.
Something that I didn't mention is that we also have a pretty good ball that's called a Madness 40. So that's our high performance ball. The other two that you see on our website are more to play,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, but then the Madness 40 is the one that we're introducing to the European Opens, and the ball that all players are using. So let's say it would be the equivalent to the lifetime ball in the US or whatever.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a high performing ball. So for sure, we're going to send some of these boxes over your way for you guys to play around. Maybe we can support some local events and start introducing the brand as well with the support of the ball.
Yeah, I really like the Lifetime ball. I played with it in Vietnam. Uh,
Hmm.
it's kind of like, tennis. Going back to tennis,
Yeah.
and then I'm sure your ball is quite similar. So I think you're on the right path.
Yeah, that's the story of Zebra. It's a Madrid-based brand. We have two warehouses, one based in Portugal, where we do most of the distribution of our product to Europe and Asia in this specific case, right? And then we have a second warehouse in Florida that helps us cover the Americas. And we're currently in the process of exploring opening a new warehouse in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, because Brazil is growing at a crazy speed. I mean,
Is
for
it
you guys
really
to, oh,
Brazil?
it is
That's
insane.
not
So for
Padel
you,
then. Okay, nice.
no, no, no. Actually, Brazil is quite slow in padel because beach tennis was the racket sport that was leading the charts down there.
Okay.
And since pickleball started, people are just going wild with pickleball. In 2 years, only Sao Paulo, as a city, opened more than 200 clubs.
Whoa, that is
So
nuts.
it is nuts.
200.
So,
Wow.
and the level of play, it's insane. So I was also lucky to go and check out the pickleball worlds in Fort Lauderdale at the fort.
Mhm.
And so I was, looking into players and doing my little scouting here and there, and actually Brazil has some of the top players that I saw playing throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I noticed your net is really, you know, low priced. It's a nice net and it's quite reasonable.
It is a great price as well, very portable, easy to set wherever you like. And then we have
Mm-hmm.
let's say, a heavier build, the one with the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a club where you don't want to be replacing this every 2, 3 months, then you can go for the larger one. I also own some pickleball clubs down in Latin America, and unfortunately, players there don't necessarily take good care of my nets, so I have to change those like every month and a half. But yeah, I mean, you have to take care of your stuff for sure.
So in Europe and Latin America, do they normally play outdoor as opposed to indoor? Because in Japan we play a lot of indoor, so
No,
equipment doesn't
so
get
it
so you know bad
yeah,
quickly.
it rains a lot in most of South American countries. So most of club owners try to build like indoor facilities. My clubs are indoor.
Hmm.
Um, I have two clubs in Bogota. One has 7 courts and the other one has 3 courts. But the one that has 3 courts, it's a multi-sport facility. So we also have padel, we have some golf simulators, and we have a boxing gym. So it's more of a, yeah, multi-sport venue.
Mm, okay. Do you play on the clay? No, just kidding.
No, no, no. But a few people are doing that, and
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. A few people are exploring that. No, ours are, yeah, regular pickleball courts
Pickleball
made
courts.
out
Yeah.
of concrete. Yeah,
Because we
with
we
the
play
right
we play
paint.
on clay here in Japan, but it's actually astroturf with sand on it when we play
Mm,
tennis. So
yeah.
we're trying to convert those into pickleball courts now. We need to adjust the ball a little bit because the
Yes,
bounce will be different, but it's possible.
it is absolutely possible. Maybe, and I mean, I have to declare myself a little bit ignorant in that space, but I would imagine that an indoor pickleball ball that has a little bit more of, the squishiness, the bouncing, would eventually work.
Yeah.
Something you guys could try out for sure. And well, I don't know. I mean, this is a different topic, but I don't know if you guys saw the tip T thing
Yeah.
going on at Racket X. Those were the guys like literally like picking everyone's attention. Like they were selling paddles or rackets like crazy. And I met the founder of Tip T, so that was fun to see how now a different emerging racket sport is somehow taking the space of pickleball courts and introducing a new way of playing. Racket sports. So interesting as well. But Zebra, us, we're staying in this ground. Our intention is to grow internationally. We're looking for interesting partners to help us grow. Actually, working more in joint venture, let's say, business models instead of how traditional brands work. Like, hey, Mark, you want to be part of this brand? Make sure that you buy one of our containers, and we'll see if it works. It doesn't work like that with us. So we know that it is a very competitive market. Um, but we do believe that we can differentiate because we're the only European brand. Actually, Zebra won last year best pickleball brand in Europe.
Oh, wow.
There's an award, and the brand was competing against every single big brand, right? Like Selke, Yola. Well, actually, Selke, Yola, Diadem. Those are the ones that you hear about in Europe, more or less. You don't have the bread and butters, the pickleball, the Hawaii pickleball company, or you don't have all these other options. But it's still, I mean, great. I mean, to get people's recognition of your product and brand.
Yeah, so here in Asia, it's like we have brands from Vietnam, we have brands
Hmm.
from the Philippines, actually, but we are really influenced a lot by the American market and what they use,
Sure.
and we watch a lot of YouTube about the reviews that they talk about. So basically, what people are using in the United States. So this is kind of
Yeah.
refreshing because we don't see, the other side of the world. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. And I'm hoping the US will start to recognize Zebra very soon, because some of our players are starting to play at a PPA level.
Ooh.
For this specific model, for instance, we're getting the UPAA approval so that hopefully we can start, like stepping harder into the pro playgrounds.
Sure.
Um, and also because we're starting to build very interesting commercial relationships with some distributors in the U.S., in Florida, and in California. So I assume that our paddles will hit the hands of those, YouTubers, those reviewers that love to check out new products. So we'll see how it goes. But truth is that I have seen some pro players play already with the Gazelle and the Totem, and
Mhm.
everyone who try them, were very like positively surprised with the
Mhm.
playability of the paddle. And some actually requested some level of support. So we're currently like exploring those opportunities as well to hopefully, put our paddle in the hand of the right people.
Yeah, at the Pickleball Bros podcast, we like to, help up and coming, companies that have potential, who have grassroots background like you guys, yourselves, and I think this is like a good fit for what we do because, as you
Awesome.
say, the big brands, basically they have their own thing. Like for example, you know, Selkirk, they want you to be their distributor, but when you say, okay, yeah, let's do it, they don't come back to you. It's kind of because they already have
It
part of
is.
the market. It's a different attitude, when it comes to some of these bigger brands, and obviously they have their own distributorship.
Mhm.
So uh, it's nice to talk to people who really want to get into the pickleball scene and the community. And it looks like you've done it with your pros and your juniors and your ambassadors as well.
It is a community based brand. We know that we won't be able to go anywhere without the support of the people out there playing on the courts. You said it right. Those big brands, they have their market share more or less secured. So let's say that smaller deals aren't interesting for them. Um, but then we're also very aware of how competitive the market is, and we are not competing against Yola or Selkirk. We don't have that budget, right? But we know that we can be competitive at a grassroots level, and that we
Mhm.
can tell interesting stories. And I think that pickleballers, we all deserve trying as many brands as possible. And one day you'll find the one that you love. And then if you have some connection with the story of the brand, the back end of the brand, that's going to be your brand for life, right? So I think that these days the market tendencies are pushing towards community based brands that are legit, that grow organically, instead of those mainstream brands that are polluting everywhere with advertisement. And at the end of the day, you get one of their products, and in 3 months, your paddle is broken, right? So yeah, I mean it's a bet, but that's the bet we're now into, and we do believe that there's a future for brands like Zebra out there.
Well, we love the underdog, and we always want them to win as well. Because it is, as you say, it's a highly competitive market. But then, people are kind of fooled sometimes because they think that it's good because somebody uses it, some pro uses it, but it doesn't fit their needs. So take a look at this other one. This is better. Sometimes that's the case.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I come from the sports marketing industry. I was for 16 years the head of sports for Red Bull energy drink,
Oh,
and worked in 19 markets worldwide. That's what actually brought me to the US. I was the head of sports for Red Bull at a region called the Red River region that pretty much covers Oklahoma and Texas. And I was always about, looking into competition and understanding what other brands had or were doing well. So I'm good at evaluating the whole horizon of the industry, and that's what I'm currently doing with pickleball, right? Like understanding what's going on around us, and it's being very very objective, because I'm not a BS type of person. The specifically the Gazelle, Black Mamba, and the Osprey are top notch paddles. I mean, I had played with every single paddle out there, and I could mention a few of my non-zebra favorites, because that's not a secret neither for Shiana, who's the founder of Zebra. But I used to play with the JNFT from Honolulu Pickleball,
yeah.
and I also enjoy the bread and butter local, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
And again, those are cases of brands that not everyone knows about, that are very hard to find, but are not necessarily expensive, and they play really good. Problem is when you want to be competitive at a pro level and you have to pay for those approvals, and you have to ship paddles everywhere to get tested and blah blah blah. That's when you start to reconsider paying that money actually makes sense, right?
Right.
So that's our stage right now. We're just like building the brand, and hopefully at some stage we'll tell ourselves, hey, let's go in and sign this girl or this guy, and expose our brand at that level.
Right. One of the trends that I see right now, like with all brands across the board, everybody's moved to foam core. It's a hard
Hmm.
foam, and basically a lot of power off that paddle. Like whatever paddle there is with foam core.
Yep.
Um, but I still like honeycomb. The dwell
Yep.
time is there. Even the new, Yola 5 is honeycomb base. There's some foam in it.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
what do you know what kind of trend you guys are going to go into in the future? You're going to
Well,
stick with
great that
core?
you asked for it, because the Osprey. So what is so unique about the Osprey? So the surface is a mixture between Kevlar and carbon fiber.
Mhm.
So the grit of that specific surface is pretty unique, and also the power, the rejection of the ball is very solid. That one is a mixture between honeycomb and foam,
Mm.
and we've been doing that for almost 2 years.
Oh,
So let's say that the Yola 5, let's say the fifth edition, it's something we've been playing with for a while. Now the brand new paddle, the Gazelle, it's foam core, what we call black foam. It's full foam. So it is our first paddle into that space, because we recognize that a lot of people were looking for foam core paddles. So this is going to be our first experiment with it. So far, we're very, very pleased with the results.
hmm.
But most of our paddles are honeycomb, and actually the one that I like the most out of our catalog is called the Black Mamba.
Hmm.
And I sort of compared a little bit with maybe the Perseus from Yola, right? Like
Okay,
the old version
for
of the
sure.
Ben Johnson, Colin
Yeah.
Johns paddle. That's the
And
type I prefer dinking and resetting balls than smashing balls. That's my style,
sure.
right? But then if you go for the Gazelle, you have the speed, the power, the grit, so you can go crazy. The, I mean, regardless of your play style.
Okay. Eric, you got anything to ask Pierre?
No, I just remember that you mentioned that Sao Paulo has a lot of clubs. And is that where your pros you signed are mostly from the Brazil area, right? Um,
Correct. Yeah, the brand new ones are two Brazilian kids. One, it's called JP Agulha. He's 14. And then we have a girl named Ana Julia Bosso. She's 13, and she's actually the daughter of the Brazilian pickleball team coach. Um, they have a very well organized like confederation, and they're working together like in organizing pickleball, and they're like really leading the charts in regards to structuring the sport in a professional way.
I see. You know what's it's interesting because I do want to visit Sao Paulo myself, and there's another reason for that. Actually, I don't know if you noticed, the biggest population of Japanese outside of Japan, of course, is in Sao Paulo.
I know. I
So,
lived there for 8 years.
oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
know very well. So
yeah.
I'm curious what I want to visit because of the cultural it interests me that, a collective society like Japan is usually very shy and reserved, whereas Brazil is quite the opposite. They're very warm and very outgoing people. So I'm kind of curious to see that culture and pickleball mixed together. So I'm excited to go there myself. And
Anytime you like, we can definitely organize a tour to show you around what's going on in the scene. You would be very surprised with the quality of clubs and play. And we could for sure bring the entire community together and then just do like a very fun, Japanese pickleball gathering with some cachaça or caipirinha for those who like enjoying those heavier drinks, local drinks.
Oh, is
I
that
would love that.
all I
Just
know is
tell me
Guaraná, you know,
what
that
month
drink
is a good
or
time to go? I'm
Panimon.
just curious.
Well, actually, you could go down to Sao Paulo pretty much any time of the year. This is supposed to be the rainy season in a way, but I mean, you never know. It's a 50-50 chance. Whenever Brazilians say, or at least in Sao Paulo, they say that they're going through winter, it isn't that cold either. So
Mm.
literally any time of the year, it's a great moment.
Okay, sounds good. I'll let you know when I'm planning to go there. Probably
Yeah, let's
later
start
in the
by
week.
organizing that Osaka encounter. Let me know when it's a good time for me to be there because I'm not joking. I'm gonna schedule my flight and meet you guys there. I'm gonna bring a bunch of paddles and balls, and then we can do our little first zebra event in Japan. That would be awesome.
Okay, awesome.
Looking
So
forward to it.
I'm looking for a place to get away from the cold of Japan. So I think São Paulo is the place to be.
It is. It is.
Because it's quite chilly here still. So I usually go to Vietnam or Thailand. I was just there a week ago.
Well,
But
Charlie, who was supposed to join us, and he's actually very eager to go down and check out Sao Paulo or Brazil
okay.
this year. So maybe we can offline think about a cool date. So you guys know, I believe it's early June. Brazil's doing their main pickleball open,
Oh.
and what they call their nationals. That's where they pick the top players for the national team. They have plus 3,000 registered players.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Yeah, so it's bananas. Like it's really insane. So that's a great time for us to go and check it out. So I'm actually planning to go there because our players are going to be competing. So it would be fun to see them, make it to the podium, and it's going to be also a surprise for everyone in Brazil to see Zebra as a new brand like pop up in the scene. Yola earns the market down there in Brazil, so Yola is pretty much everywhere there, but um, we know that they're everywhere, regardless.
Yeah, because I play senior pro 60 plus. I'm 61
Hmm.
this year. And Eric
Wow,
plays open category. So I know who is
awesome!
who in Asia for senior pro, but it'd be very interesting to go down there and play some tournaments and challenge the seniors down there.
You're going to be challenging Marcelo Jardim there as well. Who
Is he
knows?
60?
No, no, no. I think he's 51, I believe.
Yeah, it's 50. He's C plus. Well, if you're 50,
Yeah,
you're senior pro. So yeah, okay,
yeah.
that'd be fun.
So actually, a good friend and distributor down in Sao Paulo. His name is Juca. He is plus 60, and he's a very active player. He's amazing.
Nice.
You will enjoy playing with him. He's a very fun character as well.
Okay. Wow. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys let me know, and we put those dates on our calendars, and hopefully we meet in person, and we bring the Pickleball Bros podcast as well out to one of those courts, and maybe you guys can interact with some local players as well, and yeah, and just produce a few other interesting stories for sure.
Yeah, we've done a live broadcast at a tournament in Osaka before, and that was pretty interesting.
Mm,
So we could do that down in, you know, Sao
yeah,
Paulo
that
as
would be
well.
fun.
That'd be very fun, definitely. So at the Pickleball Bros podcast, we like spicy topics.
Hmm.
So we always ask a few questions that might be a little bit unhinging, but we're gonna try.
Shoot.
Okay, so uh, as a paddle manufacturer with all this competition, you know, what do you say to people, doubters that say like, what, you're just another brand, you're made in China, you know, y- you're just one of them. I mean, what do you say to people who would criticize you this way?
I think that these days, and pretty much since the very beginning of the industry, all paddles were manufactured at the same companies. So my recommendation to those who are trying different paddles is to look for those that fit best and that are pocket friendly. Because there's a lot of products out there that are pocket friendly and that are high quality. So my call is you would differentiate yourself if you have quality, if you're competitive in terms of price, and if you have a fun story to tell, that's marketing. That's up to you. But then just look for quality and price.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and I also see that you really are serious about building the community and you take care of your people, your ambassadors and your pro players and your juniors.
Right.
Okay. Eric, anything to add?
Um, I'm just curious. You said you lived in Dallas. How did you decide to settle or move to Dallas?
Well, I was moved to Dallas because Red Bull has a big office there, and Texas is one of the largest energy drink markets in the world. A lot of things happen in Texas around that specific brand, Red Bull. Like the MotoGP at the Circuit of the Americas, Formula One happening at the Circuit of the Americas as well. So we had a few things going on. I was also very active in the pro basketball space, collaborating with the San Antonio Spurs, with the Houston Rockets, with the Dallas Mavericks, with the Oklahoma Thunders. So, anyways, that's basically the reason why. Sports is very relevant. Mainstream sports in Texas specifically are very relevant. And there was a need for someone, in that case myself, to build a full marketing strategy and structure for the brand. And once I did that, I left the brand and started my own consulting agency, which is Ausblick. And now I've been collaborating with many brands worldwide, specifically in the US, Latin America, and Europe.
Very cool. That's very cool.
One more spicy question. How do you find working with Zebra and the owners and the whole community there?
Oh, it's fantastic. Once you guys meet Shiana, the founder, you will know exactly what I'm talking to. She takes so great care of everyone. So every single player is more or less like another kid of hers. She's very young. She's a mega athlete. So she's a climber, like a rock climber. So she kicks butt. She's really amazing. Um, but she built this brand with her heart and soul, and it started growing to a point where she was like overwhelmed, like, oh my god, I'm getting requests from different countries, and I don't necessarily understand how the space works in terms of a market. And that's when she reached out to me and we started collaborating. Actually, I met her at the very first like Spanish nationals, pickleball nationals in Madrid, when I had the chance to meet her because I was there with the Texas Ranchers, with Christian Alshon and Tina Pisnik, doing some exhibition matches in Madrid. And that's where I met Shiana from Zebra.
Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. That's it for me. Anything, final words, Eric? You get the final word.
I get the final word. It It's come full circle. So I got to see Zebra in Bulgaria. Was very curious about the brand. Got a few words in from the club owners there, but it's great hearing from you, Pierre, about the full brand and how you came to be. And I'm looking forward to trying out the paddle and giving you my honest review about it.
Love it. Appreciate it. So thanks for the time, guys. I know that we had to connect with different time zones, but happy to do this anytime you guys like. I really enjoyed talking to you both, and we'll see you soon in Sao Paulo and in Japan.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thanks so much, Pierre. Okay, so that's it for the Pickleball Bros podcast today. Thank you, Pierre, for your time and your insight into the new world of the animal paddle, Zebra.
There you
All
go.
right. Okay, we'll see ya.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Okay, thanks.